Morning everyone, I hope you are here from Bridget's kitchen, currently sitting in Bridget's office. Behind me you can tell a little bit of a different view for some of you who join me regularly in the kitchen, because today's a little bit of a different Facebook Live. What we are doing today, very exciting, still very exciting, because this is just, doesn't matter where we are in the world, it's still very exciting. And hi to Tracy. Thank you for joining me today, my love. Yes, what we're doing today is a little bit different, because rather than me doing a cooking class, I thought I would do a Q&A session, because as you may be aware, we launched my second healthy cookbook yesterday, which is, I'm going to show you. Of course I am going to show you. Right, this is what we launched yesterday, which is more from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. So this is 100 more of my gut healthy recipes. So sugar-free, dairy-free, gluten-free, all in here, of course. And there's also some low-fat options as well. So for anyone who's on a gut health program, and there are lots of gut health programs out there that are doing wonderful, wonderful things for people. If you are on a gut health program, this book needs to be in your library, and we launched this book yesterday. So this book is now currently available for pre-sales. We are looking at a November, early November delivery to your house, to your mailbox. So it's not long to wait. If you want a copy of this, hi, Coral. Coral's just saying to me now. I've just got to stop for a second. So Coral, every time I do a live video, the beautiful Coral joins us all the way from Rarotonga. Well, now Coral's just saying to me she's currently in Wellington. How's the weather in Wellington today, Coral? A bit different from Rarotonga, I would imagine. Just a little bit different. Coral, I love that you support me every single time I do a live, and I look for your name to come up. And your hello from Rarotonga to come up as well. So thank you for joining me all the way from Wellington. Wonderful to have you. And to everyone who's joining me today on this live Q&A, this entire session is based on you guys. If you have any questions, now is the time to ask me. This is when you get me one-on-one. I'm not being sort of taken over by the cooking that I'm doing. I'm actually here to answer your questions. So it's an exciting time if you have any questions, obviously regarding the book. And I've had a few questions come through to me via Messenger and via email in the last 12 hours that I released this little class we're doing for people who do have some questions. But I'm happy to answer your questions as well. I have the most handsome moderator you would ever imagine in your life sitting over there. He's like on the other side of the desk, just there, and he will take note of your questions as well, so that we can answer, or I can answer as many as possible. This is the perfect time. Any questions, cooking, cookbooks, anything, just keep it, remember this is a family show, keep it nice. If you can, keep it nice. Right, Leslie Curry, first question of the day. Love you, Leslie. Thank you for supporting. Every time I'm online, I see that beautiful lady, Leslie, come up. Leslie Curry has asked, do I have a recipe for pasta? Leslie, I'm so glad you asked that recipe, because guess what I have in the new book? I have my chicken Alfredo recipe in here. I'm just looking for it. Here it is. It is going to be on page 95 of the new book. Check that out, Leslie. Look at that. Now, chicken Alfredo, and I'm using in here a gluten-free pasta. So it is actually like noodle-like. I know in my first book I had zucchini noodles instead of pasta. But in this book, because this book is a little bit more robust, you can start to incorporate these types of foods back into your diet. I still do gluten-free because, as you guys know, my body just can't deal with gluten. So I still do gluten-free. And you can buy some amazing gluten-free or flour alternative style pastas are on the market now in your supermarket. So go and have a look. The one that I tend to use, there's a couple that I use, but you can get things, you can get alternative to wheat flour, and wheat is where the gluten lies, and that is the protein that tends to make people like myself not feel the best. So go into your supermarket and have a look through their gluten-free aisle or their healthy aisle, and what you will notice is more and more companies are starting to produce products that us people who can't handle gluten, or people who want to live a gluten-free lifestyle, or celiacs, people who actually have a massive intolerance to gluten and makes them very ill. There are so many products on the market now where we can swap out that traditional pasta made from wheat flour, so completely loaded in gluten, and they're making all these different pastas out of different types of flours. So you will get buckwheat flour pasta, and buckwheat, I know it says buckwheat, but it's not wheat. Do not panic, it is gluten-free. You obviously can get rice flour pasta as well. There are people doing amazing things with black types of beans as well, which is pretty fantastic. So go into your supermarket, have a look, but remember, every time you want to buy something in a packet, a jar, a tin, a box, that's not a pure vegetable that you pick off a shelf, or pick off your vegetable shelf, or a piece of fruit, or when it's a ingredient that you can't identify by looking at it straight away. In other words, it's been processed. What I suggest you do, and usually those processed things come in boxes, cans, bags, packets, tins. Make sure, this is so important, this is such a massive tip for anyone wanting to look after their health, is turn that package around. I know it's going to look all beautiful and shiny on the front, it's going to be enticing, there's going to be bright colors that make you want to buy it. Turn that packet or that tin or that package or that box or whatever around and read the ingredients label. Really important, because sometimes there are hidden things in there that are not necessarily that good for us. So read that ingredient label, and always remember, when you're reading an ingredient label, the first ingredient you see on the ingredient list will be the thing that has which is the largest content of the ingredient. So for example, if you pick up a pasta, a gluten-free pasta, and you read it and the first ingredient is rice, the majority of that ingredient in that product is the first ingredient you see, so it will be rice, and then it continues down. So the next ingredient might be I'm not sure, maybe it might be cornmeal, so that's the next ingredient that has the most content. So just be aware that even though you're starting to look at gluten-free items that you can buy that are already pre-purchased, and you can make my chicken Alfredo pasta, which, by the way, yes, I do buy a pre-prepared pasta for this recipe, but it is the sauce that I have in there, which is amazing. So my Alfredo sauce, would you believe, my Alfredo sauce, and what you'll notice in my book is if you go down to the bottom, can you guys see that? I've got these little round dots down the bottom that will tell you, those symbols are to indicate what this recipe is. For example, the first symbol I see is it says it's gluten-free, so you know that recipe is gluten-free. The next symbol you see is sugar-free, or SF, that's sugar-free. The next recipe there is dairy-free, it's DF, dairy-free. And the next one there as well is telling me that this has a vegan option to it as well. So yes, I know it's chicken Alfredo, but if you leave out the chicken, you can actually have this as a vegan or vegetarian option. So when it comes to my chicken Alfredo pasta, the base of this pasta, if you've never tried my chicken Alfredo sauce, the base of this pasta is not butter and flour and milk, which is a normal traditional sort of a base to a creamy chicken Alfredo. The base of my pasta sauce is actually cauliflower and almond milk. So you can make this and still be on your gut healthy program. So there you go. That is the first question answered, which I'm so happy. Thank you for that wonderful question. But I've got a couple of questions that I'm just going to that were given to me earlier on over the last 24 hours of people who can't make the live, but they wanted to make sure that their questions got answered. So the first question I have is, I've ordered the book, as in this book. And remember, if you want to order a copy of this, this was released only 24 hours ago, went live 24 hours ago. And if you want to order a copy of the book, all you need to do is go to, here's the website, morefrombridget.com. That is the website. Go to morefrombridget.com. If anyone asks you, where can I get a copy of Bridget's book? You just go to More from Bridget. More from Bridget. Because this is More. The name of the cookbook is More. So morefrombridget.com will take you to where you can purchase a copy of the cookbook. And the first question that I had was, I purchased a copy of the cookbook, and they did that obviously within the last 24 hours. When can I expect delivery? So delivery of this book. Now this currently is the only copy in the world that anyone has in their hot little hands. I should probably sign this and make this like, book number 1, because this is book number 1. So book number 1, this is the only copy currently available. And it's not available because it's mine. I'm going to keep it to myself. That is currently the only copy. But, sorry, just to interrupt, Mahi, are you taking notice of some of the questions that we got coming through? Because good on Mahi's onto this. So this is the only current copy of the book that is in the world. The rest of the books in a container, a big 40-foot container, stacked up there on the pallets, and they're on their way to me here in Australia. Once they land in Australia, we're expecting that delivery to happen within the next 2 weeks. They actually come to the ports here in Sydney.
All going well.
And yeah, all going well. And when we say all going well, what we mean is the weather is okay. Because remember, they're on a boat. They're on a ship. It's not a boat, it's a ship. They're on a ship. They're on a container ship in a container. They're on their way to Sydney. And all going well means that the weather isn't too dicey and they can actually travel quite easily. The boat, ship can get to Sydney. Once it hits the ports here in Sydney, it has to clear customs. Now, I have no control over that. So I can't give you an exact delivery date because I have no control over the weather and I have no control over customs here in Sydney. I just go like this. This is as much control as I have. I know they're in a container on a ship, steaming its way to Sydney right now. But how long it takes to get here is up to the weather gods. And after it gets here, it's up to the customs and Sydney port gods of when they release the cookbook. Once it's released, it goes to the fulfillment center. We already have all your orders logged in a spreadsheet, ready for that fulfillment center to start to send out the books the moment they get them into their warehouse. So what we have been told is that we're expecting an early November delivery. But if it's earlier than that, I will let you guys know. I will let you guys know publicly here and say, keep an eye on the mailbox. It's going to be there soon. So we've got another question. Yes, Mahi?
From Stephanie Baxter.
Yes.
If your body cannot tolerate cauliflower, can you use more almond milk and pasta recipe?
If your body cannot tolerate cauliflower, absolutely, you can increase the almond milk. Now, one thing I will say when it comes to making my Alfredo pasta sauce, so you can use it in your lasagna, which is amazing, or you can use it in when you're doing a white sauce. But what I would do, Stephanie, if your body can't handle cauliflower, is I would increase the amount of almond milk. Just make sure it's unsweetened, because almond milk in general tends to be quite sweet, and you will think you're having dessert if you have a sweetened almond milk. So make sure your almond milk is unsweetened. And the other thing I do to make my Alfredo sauce amazing is it's not just the cauliflower, but it's also the onions. Would you believe? Well, you know what it's like? When you cook onions for a long period of time, you get this most amazing onion jam. And by the way, I've got an onion jam recipe I'm going to share with you guys this week on Bridget's Kitchen. Keep an eye out for that. It's amazing. It's so good. If you like my pickled onions, if you like my pickled cucumbers, if you like my pickled ginger, you're going to love my onion jam. It's another lovely condiment for us to put through our salads and to serve with our meats and all that sort of stuff. So yes, if when you cook onions for a long period of time, they tend to soften dramatically and the flavor changes as well quite drastically. So when it comes to my Alfredo sauce, yes, it's got a cauliflower base, but it's also got an onion base as well. So Stephanie, if you your body is against cauliflower, increase the almond milk, unsweetened of course, and also increase the onion count, and you'll still get a delicious sauce as well. So hope that answers your question. Yes, I've got another question. Thank you.
From Gail Wright.
From Gail.
What stick blender do you use, and what's the capacity of the bowl?
Great question, Gail. What stick blender do I use and what is the capacity of the bowl? So some of you would have seen, and if Mahay's even prepared to go and run to the kitchen and grab it, he's running. He's running now. The stick blender that I use, I have a couple. The first one that I've used, and for anyone who's followed me for a long period of time, you'll notice that my first stick blender that you would always see in my video was red. And I got asked so many times, what was the brand of the stick blender? I could never answer the question. The reason why I could never answer is because that stick blender was sent to me by a company in the UK. And it's a stick blender brand that you can't actually purchase here in Australia. So it was a complete waste of time, me even suggesting the name of the brand. And I had been using it for such a long time that the actual brand name had rubbed off. So, but it was brilliant and I loved it. I think it's above the, oh, he's got it. He's got it. Could you bring them? Oh, I don't even have to ask. He's got it. He's amazing, this man. He doesn't want to get in the video. I'm gonna go here like this so we can see. He doesn't want to get in the video. All right, so the stick blender that I used to use, there's no point talking about it, as I was saying, it was from the UK, but what I found is on my little research trips that I do when I go shopping is if anyone knows me at all, they know that I really love shopping at Aldi, which is a German discount supermarket that is currently doing extremely well in Australia. And I have heard that it's potentially going into New Zealand as well, which is exciting. But it's Aldi's all around the world, obviously, especially in Europe. Just gone to the United States too, which is super exciting. Now, Aldi is a discount German brand, and I shop there a lot because it's value for money. They do amazing organic stuff as well. They do really good gluten-free products. But they also, Wednesday and Saturday, they have sales of like random stuff. Like you can go to Aldi and buy a jukebox. Not that I'm suggesting you might need a jukebox, but just in case you do, Aldi might sell it on any given Wednesday or Saturday. Or you want to go buy all your snow gear. You know, you can go in there and buy like snow clothing and stuff like that. And just the most craziest, outlandish stuff that is available at Aldi. And one of the things they did sell, I can't remember, Wednesday or Saturday, a couple months ago, is they sold this. So, and when I did some research on it, and my research was, I opened the box and opened everything and went, oh my gosh, it's almost like the same as my red one that I had from the UK. And it is so similar to the red one that I had from the UK that I can actually take the top of the red one and interchange it into this one here. So this I got from Aldi. The size of the capacity of the bowl here is 500 ml. Which is around about 16 fluid ounces for our American market. 500 ml, so half a litre of ingredients we can get into here. And this is how I chop my ginger and my garlic that I always have pre-chopped in the fridge. This is what I use, this little bowl here. And when it comes to this particular bowl, I like it because this is the top of the stick blender here, and you pop it on like that. I can't turn it on because it's not plugged in. But what you'll notice is, like a normal food processor, you can't pick it up and shake it. I love this because, you're blending away, but you're also helping it along its journey by giving it a bit of a shake. So it's a 500 ml capacity. I do things in batches because it's not the hugest bowl, but it's actually a really, I know it looks like a pretty, average kind of a blade, but the blade is brilliant. It's really good. And I think I paid $49 at Aldi for this stick blender, and it comes with the bowl attachment, which is really important. It also comes with a whisk attachment, which is fantastic, and it's a really good whisk, even if you're just doing like coconut whipped cream and all that sort of stuff as well. But the other thing it comes with is the actual metal stick blender. So if you want to blend soup straight into the pot, it comes with one of those, and it comes with a jug if you wanted to make smoothies. So $49.95. I reckon you can't go wrong. So Aldi, it's available, and it was available. It was $49.95, but you can also find a version available at Kmart. Not quite as good as the one I bought from Aldi, but still okay, and I think about half the price as well. So I've got another question there, Mahi.
Just asking, Michelle Monty, do you have vegetarian or vegan recipes? Are the recipes easily adaptable?
Okay, so that was a question from Michelle, asking whether I have vegan and vegetarian recipes. I'm going to assume that question is regarding to the new book, Michelle. And yes, I do. So what you will notice with the book is this: as soon as you get it delivered to you in your mailbox and you open it up and you go, oh my god, I got my book. And please make sure you take photos and send me photos of when you get your book delivered. What you will notice is that here on this part of the book, you'll notice there's colors. You guys see that? There's some colors. So those colors indicate the different chapters that I've made in the book. And the very first color that you have on your book is actually green. And the green section is for my vegan and vegetarian recipes. Because what I have totally worked out is that a lot more people are moving towards more of eating less meat and eating more plants. So I had to lead with what I have not, and it's also actually the way that I eat as well. I don't eat as much meat as what I used to. I'll still eat, I still eat a little bit of seafood. I eat a little bit of chicken and turkey. I eat very little red meat, but that's just because my body doesn't like it as much. And I find that I'm eating more plant-based recipes. So for me as well, and also for you guys, because it's just so good for us to include more healthy vegetables or plant-based foods into our diet. It's good for the environment and it's good for our bodies. So what you will find in this book is the very first section I have is all my plant-based, vegetarian and vegan recipes. They are in there and they are fabulous, and they're ones that, like one of my absolute favorite recipes at the moment in my green section of the book. I'm just trying to find it for you. I'm still getting used to the book. It's I haven't had it for very long. Oh, this is nice. This one here. I know, right? It looks like pulled pork. You're going, oh, Bridge, why are you showing me pulled pork? We're talking about vegan and vegetarian. It's actually not pulled pork. It's a pulled jackfruit. And I had it for the very first time in a vegan restaurant, not here in Australia, in another country. And it was jackfruit that looked like pulled pork. And it tasted pretty amazing. And if to visually look at it and you go, wow, that just kind of looks like pulled pork. And you see what I've done there? I've made it into a little slider. With mycelium husk bread rolls, and yes, the recipe for mycelium husk bread rolls is in the book as well. And I had it and I thought to myself, that's amazing, but I reckon I could make it better. And so what I did is I took my spice blends that you guys are already so used to from my first book, and I mixed it with this jackfruit. And you can buy jackfruit in a can from any good Asian supermarket. In fact, every Asian supermarket sells it. And you can get that in 30 minutes. 30 minutes. It's amazing. So yes, you can have your vegan and your vegetarian, and I've got a whole section here dedicated to that from the book. But even if you were to go towards the meat section, because of course red is meat, there is nothing stopping you from creating, that's my instant noodles, because we all know 2-minute noodles, right? Maggi noodles. Well, this is my instant noodles. So it's got a wonderful flavoursome seaweed broth. Instead of noodles there, we've got a great combination of cabbage, and kale, and some more nori chopped through there. So we took the hot broth over the cabbage, and then I've just got this little wonderful sprinkling that goes on top, which tastes amazing. So instead of doing chicken in here or type of meat, you can do, there's nothing stopping you from doing tofu or putting falafel through it or whatever it is. So one of the things that I wanted to make sure, and you'll find even in the meat section of this book, is I have alternatives. If you don't eat chicken, turkey, beef, lamb, seafood, there are alternatives to those as well. So thank you, that's a great question. Yes, Mahi, do we have another question?
Just Yvonne Warbank saying she loves the meal plan.
Oh, thank you, Yvonne. Thank you for loving the meal plan. It is what Mahi and I have been using to stay looking sexy and gorgeous throughout this time. And, everything that you guys see, whether it be cookbooks or recipes that I post on Facebook, and I posted a recipe this morning on Facebook from the video I did yesterday for banana crumble, and it includes my ginger crunch amaze balls, which are in this book. So this is the first recipe that I'm sharing from the book. So I shared with you guys today on Bridget's Kitchen. I shared with you that recipe. And I used it. Yes, I know it's like a protein ball, which you can totally make it. These are most amazing protein balls, and you just leave them in the fridge. So whenever you have a little nibble moment, rather than reaching for chocolate or something that's not that great for us, you reach for one of these, and you are getting such goodness, and it's fresh ginger as well, so you're getting the goodness of fresh ginger, you're getting the goodness, you know, if you're either having oats or quinoa to make these, it's up to you, oats or quinoa flakes, so you're feeling full and sated, but also there's buckwheat in there, which is really, really good for us as well. So that's the recipe that I shared today on Bridget's Kitchen. Mahay's going to throw up a link for that, just in case you haven't downloaded my banana crumble. It's my 5-minute banana crumble, and this is what I use to make the crumble, which is nice, because one of the things I really love about cooking is that recipes are versatile. You know, you're not just stuck. You're like, oh, here's Bridget's recipe for ginger crunch amaze balls. That's the only thing I can do with those amaze balls. No! You can also crumble them up and use them to top some wonderful fruit. I did it with banana yesterday. You can do it with berries, fresh berries, because it's berry season here in the southern hemisphere. You can also use fresh mango, because obviously it's tropical and it's wonderfully soft and delicious. You could use figs, fresh figs when they're in season. You could use feijoa if you're in New Zealand and they're in season. So there's all these options. Food is not just static. Recipes are not static. When we start to think like this, rather than looking like this, you know, like, oh, this is all I can do with it, the whole world opens up in terms of what is available to us. So yes, when we go back to the question about whether my recipes are transferable if you're vegan or you're vegetarian, they totally are, because a recipe is a guide, and it's up to you to do what you want to do with that guide. So you can follow the recipe and it will be delicious, but imagine if you just tweaked it slightly and you went, I don't eat chicken or turkey, but you know what? I might actually try to put a little bit of tofu through that and see what happens. Or, you know, I'm not interested in eating it with prawns, but I wonder if I actually swapped it out and did it with chicken. So you can swap things out. In fact, I advise that you do, because this is all about us learning what are the possibilities, you know, and stretching not just our imagination, but stretching our palate as well. So great question. Thank you. We've got another question here. Oh, and by the way, as I'm going through these questions, do not feel that if you've got a question that you want to ask, please do. This is your moment. Take your moment and seize it with both hands. But I do have a question that came through in the last 24 hours. And that we talked about delivery. So remember, if you've ordered the book, morefrombridget.com will get you the book sent to you. And you'll be expecting that delivery by early November. So it's only a couple of weeks away, because we're already, October the 7th? Is it the 7th or the 8th today? So it's not far away till you get your book delivered to your mailbox. Now, the other question I had is, if you saw my live yesterday, or if you have been part of this process as we've been talking about the book and been watching what's been happening online, you will have seen that I am giving away to the first, we start off with the first 100 people that ordered the book, More from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. You will get a free copy of my soon-to-be-released e-cookbook, which is Bridget's Healthy Breads and Pastries. There's going to be over 30 recipes of my breads and pastries and crumpets. And what else have I got in there? I've got different types. I've got like short crust pastry, puff pastry, crumpets, different types of breads, rolls, 5-minute breads that require yeast, like the most amazing, delicious bread recipes in here, and pastry recipes as well. You will get that delivered to you the moment it goes live, and I'm frantically just finishing off the end of that ebook now, that e-cookbook now, hoping to get it to you before your actual book arrives. That's my plan. You'll get that delivered to you, to the first 100 people. Well, the cookbook sold out the first 100 before I'd even finished the live yesterday, so we increased it to 150. Well, that sold out within the next half an hour, so I've now increased it. If you order my book and you're one of the first 500 people to order the book, we will give you for free my soon-to-be-released Bridget's Healthy Breads and Pastries e-cookbook with over 30 recipes of my favorite bread recipes. That will be delivered to the first 500 people that order the book. So it is still available for anyone who would like to be part of that first 500 free. I can't wait to get that e-cookbook to you guys as well, because I like bread. I like gluten-free bread and all those wonderful pastries and stuff that we can make healthy and gut healthy for us. So that is still available. So that was a question. So yes, please, morefrombridget.com is the new book website. So there you go. Question, Mahi?
Nothing yet.
Nothing.
Scanning.
Oh, I've got one. So big question we get every time we release a new something for people, and at the moment we've got quite a bit of product available for you guys. Obviously, let's just talk about the first baby. I still have copies of this book available. So if you are looking to start your journey, or if you're wondering where I started my journey, this is where I started. This is what helped me to clean my gut. This is my gut reset cookbook. Really, really important if you are looking at your journey through weight loss eyes, because you're wanting to lose some weight. You want to clean out your gut, which means not only you're going to be cleaning out your gut, but you will also be increasing your energy levels. You'll be increasing or modifying your moods to make it better, because when you've got a clean gut, you'll be so surprised at how different your life is, how things change. I don't want that to sound too corny, because the importance of having a healthy gut, for me, it changed so dramatically. And one of the first things I noticed when I started to eat clean, and that's in this first book here, in Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. And the first thing I noticed when I started to eat clean is what I noticed was that, well, my family noticed it too, is that my moods changed quite dramatically. So I went from feeling pretty sad a lot of the times. You know, I was quite depressed, and I actually thought that I had chronic depression because, you know, I just was never happy, and didn't want to leave the bedroom, didn't want to leave the house, didn't want anyone to see me because I was really embarrassed by my body and what I had become. One thing that I noticed when I started to eat clean and started to eat without sugar, dairy, gluten, and low in fat, one of the things I noticed was that my moods changed. My family noticed too. I was just nicer to be around. And when my moods changed, I found myself becoming more active, which is really important. So I started moving more. I started wanting to leave the bedroom. Then I wanted to leave the house. And then as I was doing all those things, the weight literally fell off. I know that sounds weird, but it got to a point where if I would put on an item of clothing that was like my comfort pants. I think I've got a pair of my comfort pants here. Do you guys want to see? Wait here. I think I've got a pair. I'm just going to go down here. I think they're next to my desk. Give me a sec. Oh, right, I do. Right. Are you ready? These are my comfort pants. And I kept them because you should keep stuff, because it's really important to see how far you've come, right? And this reminds me of where I was and where I'm at now. So these are what I used to wear pretty much every single day, and they were my comfort pants. Look at that. They don't even fit on the screen. These were my comfort pants. Notice the awesome color. Of course they're grey because I didn't want to do anything else. I want to show you what me looks like now. Can you see? Oh, you can't see. Too high. But yeah, pretty much I can wrap those around my entire body. These were my comfort pants that I used to wear every single day. Notice how wide the leg is, because that's how big my thighs were. And I would wear these every day. They were my pajamas, they were my hanging around the house clothes, they were just everything. And they were everything that I wanted to be in life. I wanted to be the person that fits into these comfort pants. And because that's where I thought I was. You know, I was just there. I was like, okay, I'm in my 40s now. You know, I've had 3 kids. This is my lot. This is me. I'm now gonna forever feel frumpy, and I'm gonna feel unsexy, and I'm gonna feel like I have to wear grey friggin' sweat pants for the rest of my life. That was where I was. And it was a really awful place to be. Let me tell you, it was an awful place to be. And I hated being that person. I hated not even wanting my husband to look at me or touch me. And you know, I used to never looked in mirrors. Like, I would just quickly walk past. You know, I didn't care whether I had makeup on. I did not care whether my hair was clean, whether I had nice nails. I actually did not care, because I stopped loving me, because I was so sad at who I had become. And I blame myself 100% for what I had become. And I also thought, you know, you're being lazy. You need to go to the gym more and work out 6 days a week, 7 days a week for 3 hours a day. You know, stop being so lazy. So I was always beating myself up. And what I learned, and because I decided that there was more to life than feeling like this, and I started to educate myself. And when I started to educate myself about how I was feeling and actually sort of start to analyze why I was feeling like that rather than just, you know, blaming external reasons. And when I began to educate myself, I kept on coming back to this idea of gut health and how important it is for us to look after our internal health as well as our perceived external health. And when I kept on coming back to gut health, I began to do more and more research, and I'm a great researcher. You can see behind me. These are just cookbooks behind me, by the way. It's just 100% cookbooks. I've got thousands of cookbooks. And as I began to research this idea about gut health, I realized how important it was, not just for weight loss, but for my overall well-being, to have a healthy gut. As I was saying, the first thing I noticed when I started to eat clean, and these are the recipes in this book, the first thing I noticed was that my moods improved. I just started to feel like I was a human again. And then as my moods began to improve, the weight literally dropped off me, and I lost 30 kilos, which is just under 70 pounds in 5.5 months. And no, I did not do any exercise. I was exercise free. I was just using the recipes from my book. This is how I lost my weight. So if you were ever feeling like me and you want to stop feeling like that, because it sucks, it absolutely sucks, get this. Seriously, get this. And not only have I created this, of course, which was released in April, and it sold out in 6 weeks. Yay! Which is so exciting, because there's lots of us that feel like this, and we all want solutions. And for me, this is the start of the solution. This is where we start. We start here. This is where you start to heal your gut. This is where it all starts. And I don't care if you're male, you're female, whether you're in your early 20s or your late 60s or your early 70s. It's the same for all of us. Once our gut is healed and it's healthy, everything changes. As I was saying, I don't want to just gloss over and make it sound like an infomercial. It's true. I'm living proof of how my life has changed. There is absolutely zero chance that I would have created 4 cookbooks in 2 years had I not had a healthy body and a healthy mind. Because when your gut is healthy, everything changes. Your mind is clear. Brain fog is gone. Energy levels are insane. Mahey wants to show you his pants, by the way. I was like, Bridget, he's handing them to me.
I just eat what you make. I just eat what you make.
You've seen my comfy pants, my grey comfy pants, which are probably I could use as a sleeping bag now. So my husband, Mahey, who you guys all know, even if you haven't met, you all know him if you've been spending any time with us online. These were his comfy pants. Look at that. What size were these, my love? Do we know? All right, these were a 38, because he wasn't he's not a massive guy, but these were his comfy pants, which I can quite happily use as a bib. Nice little bib. These were his comfy pants. So what are you now, my love? Are you a size 30? He went from 30, a 38
32, 34, right?
to a 30 to 32, and he's done that purely by eating my food. That's all he does. He just eats my food. That's all he does. He eats my food. And this is where we both started. So this is the start. If you want to purchase this book, it is bridgetscookbook.com is the link you go to for that one. And this is the start. And this is going to heal your gut. And this is going to open your world up to so many possibilities, like it did for mine, and it did for my husband Mahey as well. And anyone who's got this book, you know how easy the recipes are. Because yes, as a chef, I lead with flavor. It has to taste delicious, right? Otherwise, why are we even bothering to do this? If it doesn't taste good, what's the point? So I start with flavor. I then make sure that the recipes are easy. And I like to think that this book will give you dinner or lunch in a maximum of 20 minutes. Because I'm busy, you're busy, we don't have time. That's what this book is. So this is the start. So thank you for that, Mahey. Another question?
Tracy Waters.
Yes.
She's asked, can we talk milky pickled onions?
Yes. So great question. I get asked this often. So pickled onions. I've got my pickled onion recipe in the new book. Don't know what page it's on yet. I haven't learnt the pages. I'll get there though. Just so you know, in the back of the book, you know, remember it goes in colours. In the back of the book, we have the grey section. Not that it's grey comfy pants section, it just happens to be the grey section, and this is my foundation recipes. So this is all my soups, my sauces and dressings and bases to other recipes. And the very first one I have, because I think it is vital to eating well and eating delicious, is the first recipe I have in the foundation recipes is I have my pickled onions. And the first thing you'll notice about that photo is it's quite a pink, but definitely not a milky liquid, because literally in this recipe, page 212 of the cookbook, and it's gluten-free, sugar-free, dairy-free, fat-free, and vegan. There you go for my vegan vegetarian friends out there. Gotcha covered. And in this recipe, it's only a few simple ingredients. One of the main ingredients you'll notice, of course, is onions. And I use red onions because they have just a little bit sweeter naturally, and they look cool. Remember, food's also visual. It's got to look good as well as taste good, as well as be good for our bodies. The three goods that we need. But the other thing about this recipe is I use inulin powder as well. So inulin powder is, and I get asked this as well quite often, why do I use inulin powder in my recipes? Inulin powder is a prebiotic. So we all know what probiotics are. Inulin powder is a prebiotic, and a prebiotic is what probiotics feed on to make our gut environment, our microflora or our microbiota. It makes it very healthy and makes a very conducive environment to keep us really well and keep our health up. So we need prebiotics to feed the probiotics. You guys have heard of probiotics. You can buy probiotic capsules. You can get like yogurts that got probiotics and all that sort of stuff, which is great because we need to have that balance of bacteria, good bacteria in our body. So probiotics are necessary to keep the bacteria levels balanced. But the probiotics need to be fed, and we do use the prebiotics to feed the probiotics. So inulin powder will firstly feed the probiotics in your stomach, so making that environment even healthier, which is wonderful. Inulin powder is a fabulous prebiotic. But inulin powder is also a dietary fiber. So dietary fibers keep us regular. They make sure that we toddle off to the toilet and things happen, because that's really important that we clean out our system, right? That's what prebiotics do, and that's what inulin powder and that's what dietary fiber does. So it is a dietary fiber. It is a soluble dietary fiber. So it is absorbed within water, within liquid. So it is a prebiotic, it is a dietary fiber, it is a soluble dietary fiber. It will help to melt the fat around your organs, or that internal fat that nobody wants to, you can't see it, but you know it's there, and it's not great once it's around our organs. Inulin powder will also help to melt the fat around our organs. But the reason why I love inulin powder is it's easily digestible, and it's also got a slight sweetness to it. Slight sweetness. Now, it is not sugar. And please do not think that you're going, oh great, I've got this chocolate cake recipe. I love it. My family have been making it for years, so I'll just swap out the sugar for inulin powder. Please, I beg you, do not do that. Remember, inulin powder is a dietary fiber, which means that you will be, if you swap it out 1-for-1 with sugar, please make sure the toilet is full of toilet paper and it's close by, because you will be running there potentially, and so will anyone who's just had that family chocolate cake that you have made with inulin powder. It is a dietary fiber. It's a laxative. I don't think I have to say more about that. But the reason why, sorry Mahi, I've just got to finish this. I know I've gone long-winded with this answer. The reason why some people, they say that they're making this recipe here, which is my pickled onions, which is great on my gut, healthy bowls. They have it on the sides of meats. They use it like in so many different ways. It is absolutely wonderful because it's a prebiotic, dietary fiber, onion only, made with apple cider vinegar. It's wonderful. But some people are finding that their actual liquid goes milky down the bottom. So this is a clear one. It's just pink because of the onions. Why does their liquid go milky? Now that would depend on the quality of your inulin, because not all inulin is created equally. So when you go searching for inulin powder, and I suggest you buy it online, because what I have found is that not a lot of health food stores are even know what we talk about when I walk in and go, do you have any inulin? And I've been into health food stores all over America as well, looking to see if they stock inulin. They currently do not. So you can buy it online. I buy mine on eBay here in Australia, and I buy chicory root based inulin, which is the best quality inulin. But even still, some of the inulin powders are not as good quality as others, and if you find you're getting that milky residue in your pickled onions, that's just the quality of your inulin. Do not panic. It won't affect the taste. It will just affect the look. So it's purely cosmetic. Don't panic too much. But if you also find that your inulin is not dissolving when you're making your pickles, just allow it to heat gently a little bit longer till the actual powder is no longer visible in the apple cider vinegar, and you'll get a clearer product. But if you don't panic. It's just purely cosmetic. And next time maybe do a bit more of a search for where you purchase your inulin from, because it may not be as good quality as the one that I'm using that gets that see-through liquid. So there you go. We've got another question, Mahi? Yes.
From Georgina and Michael Dawes. Can I make a kombu water in the slow cooker?
Ah, yes, great question. Kombu water. Guess what? It's in the book. Of course it's in the book. Kombu water, as you guys know, is one of my staples. And I use kombu water like a stock. So kombu water is made from seaweed, and it is dried. Kombu basically is a Japanese word for kelp, dried seaweed, dried kelp. And it's on page 234 of the cookbook. Now the reason why it doesn't have a photo, because I've also got it in here with a photo. So there is a photo in here just in case you want to know what it looks like. So kombu is a big piece of dried kelp. It usually comes like, it looks like an A4 piece of paper. It's about that size. And we use it to make our stock. And we're using kombu water instead of a chicken or a beef stock is because one of the great things about seaweed is very high in iodine naturally occurring. Coming from the ocean, it's a completely natural product. It's plant-based because it's seaweed. It's not fish-based, so it's great for vegans and vegetarians can use it as well. And we use it to make a stock. And it's simple. You take a big sheet of A4 piece of kombu, put into 5 liters of water, and yes, Georgina, you can put it in your slow cooker overnight. Just have it on low, because the best way to make kombu stock is for it to very gently, not even boil, it just kind of simmers. That's why slow cookers are really good to do it, because you just put it in and just forget about it and come back the next day and you've got kombu water already ready to go, because you don't want it to come to the boil. We want to just very gently extract the goodness from the seaweed. And one of the great things about iodine, and this is why I use it as a stock instead of beef and chicken. I still use a bit of chicken stock, but obviously I make my own chicken stock. It's like a bone broth, which I'll share with you guys later on as well. And yes, you can freeze kombu water 100% because it's just seaweed and water. Totally freeze it. But the health benefit of this stock over any other stock I've ever used is what iodine does to our bodies. So iodine naturally occurring, which is plentiful in this wonderful piece of dried seaweed, is really, really, really good for metabolizing or regulating our thyroid. So if you're wanting to increase your metabolism, your thyroid needs to be just kind of humming along. Iodine is one of those amazing essential minerals that helps to regulate your thyroid. So that's why we use kombu instead of other types of flavoring stocks, which they still have some goodness to them, but nothing beats out how good the kombu water is for us in terms of what it's doing to our thyroid, helping to increase our metabolism. And for anyone who does have thyroid issues, it's really good for you as well, just to help to keep things in line. And I know some people as well who have had their thyroid removed. This is just one of those. Iodine will just help to keep those levels that little bit higher as well, to keep our metabolism kicking over. And when our metabolism is kicking over, it's helping us to shed weight, which is just perfect. So that's why we use kombu. But great question, thank you. Yes, Mahi.
Yvonne asks, can you freeze kombu water?
Yes, you can. You can freeze it. As I was saying before, you can totally freeze kombu because it's just literally kombu. It's just the extraction of the seaweed. So just freeze it. You can either do it. Doing it in little ice cube trays is probably not right because you normally use more kombu. So I use kombu stock or kombu water in soups, my favorite way to do it, of course, in any types of soup, because that instead of using a vegetable stock, I use it in soups, but I also use it in gravies, I use it in curries. Any time where I have a recipe that would normally have water in some way, shape or form, I will replace it with kombu, because I'm increasing the iodine levels, which is helping to regulate my my thyroid, which is fantastic. So I've just been asked, where can I buy kombu? Really great question. And once again, kombu is one of those ingredients that's starting to, you know, become really popular. It's been popular for many years in Asian cuisines. You'll find that Japanese use a lot of kombu. They make like a dashi broth out of it. You'll find that Koreans also use a lot of kombu. Chinese use a lot of kombu because it's just seaweed, and they know how much flavor and goodness they can extract from it. You'll find seaweed, this kombu, in Chinese medicine. It's just been used for thousands of years because people know how good it is for us and how easy it is to produce. So the best suggestion, if you think about it, that kombu is the Japanese word for kelp or seaweed. You're going to go to your Asian supermarket to purchase it. So that's the best place you can get kombu from. In fact, once you go into your Asian supermarket, and if you've got a really good one, it usually comes in different sections. Like you might go to the Japanese section, the Korean section, you know, the Chinese section. Just head straight to the Korean or the Japanese section, and you'll find these big sheets of seaweed. Now, I was in my absolute favorite Asian supermarket over the weekend. I was in Sydney in Haymarket with the family. We're just doing some shopping, you know, looking around the market and stuff. And in market cities, you've got Haymarket, which is like Paddy's Market down the bottom, right there in Chinatown. That's in the bottom ground floor. You go one floor up, and you've got the start of it's called Market City, which is like a mall, and it's got discount stores and stuff like that, which is really great if you're a tourist in Sydney. It's great to go and have a look. Got really good food on the top level as well. But they also have a supermarket there. It is an IGA. I think it's called Tai Ki. Could you get that name for me, Mahei? Tai Ki. It's huge. It is massive. And they've just got, like, I've never in my life seen so many different packets of seaweed, of kombu. So if you're in Haymarket, you got to go and visit. It is such a great supermarket. And it's on the first floor of Market City. You go right to the back of Market City. It's the supermarket's right down the very, very end. And it is like you probably could as well, spend hours. I could spend hours in there just going through all the different things that they have. It is so wonderful. So yes, if you want to buy kombu, please check out your Asian supermarket. If you don't have an Asian supermarket close to you, maybe you're living rural or you don't have one that sells kombu, ask them. Say,
Tai Ki IGA.
Tai Ki is called Tai. So TAIKEE. THAIKEE.
Yeah.
Tai Ki IGA, which is in Haymarket in central Sydney, is great. But yes, if you don't have an Asian supermarket near you, go online. Just type in kombu purchase or kombu online, or type in dried kelp, because remember it's the same thing. Kombu, dried kelp, dried seaweed, it's all the same thing. But what you're looking for is a sheet of kombu, like it's a big thick piece. You can't eat it. You can only make stock out of it or water. You can extract things from it. So that's the kombu. So I saw a question. It wasn't about freezing. How many times can you reuse your sheet of kombu? Once you've so what you do, you know, you put your big sheet of seaweed into your 5-litre pot of water, and you very slowly extract it into your slow cooker. It takes 4 or 5 hours, and you get this amazing natural extraction coming out of the kombu. Now, if you want to, you can take that kombu water with the piece of seaweed, the kombu in it, and you can pop that into a jar. Glass jar is usually best, and just pop it in the fridge, and that'll last for a couple of weeks in your fridge with the kombu inside of it. Just make sure the kombu is completely covered in liquid, otherwise it'll start to go slimy on top. And then when you're ready to make a new one, take out that old piece of kombu that's already been soaking in the water, and you can totally use it again. Like, I normally do it 2 times. One piece of kombu will get me 10 litres of stock. I will use it 2 times because it's that strong. But more than that, it tends to lose its flavour and its its goodness. So once you've done it twice, what you can do is then take the big piece of kombu the second time after you've done it twice and pop it in the garden. If you've got a compost heap or if you've got gardens outside, the worms love it. They absolutely love it. So you're not wasting that kombu at all. Just dig it straight into the garden. All good. So twice is the is probably the most ideal for doing kombu. But make sure when it's in the fridge, in the kombu water, you know, make sure the kelp is, or this kombu is completely covered in water. Otherwise, it will go slimy. But great question. I've got one question here. So we've talked about delivery. We've talked about the free offer. You still, first 500 people will get a copy of my soon-to-be released e-cookbook, Bridget's Healthy Breads and Pastries, which is really exciting. And that's a US value of $9.95. We'll be selling that ebook for. So it's a great value, little add-on bonus gift for you guys as a thank you from us for supporting what we do, because without your support, I can't continue to do what I do. So thank you so much for anyone who's already purchased the book. Just love you guys so much for doing that. So I've got a question about the first two. Have you got that question, Mahi? Yep.
No, I've got another question. What is the best yogurt to have?
The best yogurt to have. Now that's a great question, because the best yogurt to have, and I'm assuming you're talking about ingredients as opposed to brands, because I am brand agnostic when it comes to certain things. You'll very rarely you'll find me saying you need to use this brand, because what I do realize is that we have an audience from all over the world, and for some people it's a little bit harder to access different products than other people, because you might be in a rural part of Australia, and when you're in a rural part of Australia, it's totally different from being in the city, isn't it? It's completely different. You could be 5-day drive from the nearest supermarket. So I am brand agnostic when it comes to most things in life. And if I am supporting a brand, you guys know that you should be able to get that brand online. So you can purchase it online before I'll ever say you can only get it in a supermarket. So when it comes to yogurt, I personally find that yogurt is very, as much as I love the texture of it and the flavor, it does not love me at all, and I find that cow's milk yogurt is a big no-no for me. So I stay away from Greek style yogurts and natural yogurt this, and or even organic yogurts. It doesn't matter. It's when it comes to the ingredients, and cow's milk is not great for me, so I stay away from that. And what I've found that I prefer, which I find a lot easier for my body to digest, and it also is a healthy fat as well. So when you are starting to incorporate fats back into your diet, we want to look for healthy fats. So I use a unsweetened coconut yogurt. And yes, you can buy them buy it at Aldi, and it is delicious. And you can buy it at Coles as well, and Woolies in Australia. And I've seen them in New Zealand supermarkets too. So I know that coconut yogurt is becoming more and more common throughout the world. And as I've traveled through even parts of Europe just recently, and I go into supermarkets and I go, wow, what ingredients do they have? And even in Europe, whereas normal cow's milk yogurt is so popular, I'm even finding that they are starting to stock coconut yogurts. Just make sure that your coconut yogurt is unsweetened. Really important. Doesn't matter if it's sweetened with honey, or it's sweetened with maple, or it's sweetened with brown coconut sugar, or whatever it is. Just remember that all has the same effect once you put it into your body. It will still spike your insulin levels, and it will, especially if you're diabetic, it will make your insulin levels a little bit out of control. So you want to go with an unsweetened one, because you'll find that over time, like I have no problem with unsweetened coconut yogurt. I can still, there's enough sweetness in there. It's not tangy. It definitely has a wonderful balanced flavor. And like I was saying, if you need to just ever so slightly sweeten it, because you're putting it with some berries, just sprinkle over a teaspoon of inulin powder, and you're adding a prebiotic dietary fiber to your coconut yogurt. Yes, Mahi.
Fiona Denny asked, I find eggs don't agree with me, and they feature quite heavily in your 28-day meal plan. Any tips?
That was a question from Fiona about eggs, and eggs don't agree with Fiona. So Fiona, you would have gotten with my 28-day meal plan my other booklet, which is Go Food, No Food Lists. So if there's anything that you don't eat, and this is for anyone who's using my 28-day meal plan, if there's anything that you don't eat on the meal plan, what you need to do is go to the book and swap it out for something that you can eat. So for example, if one of the, I apologize, but I can't remember what was in the 28-day meal plan that was egg based. But I'm imagining, let's just say for example, that I suggested that you make, I'm trying to find the recipe in the book here, that you make chicken scotch eggs for your breakfast. If you can't eat eggs, go through the breakfast portion of the book and find something that you can swap that out for. So for example, maybe you can't eat eggs, but there is nothing stopping you from making my delicious chicken breakfast patties. So you can totally make those instead of eggs. So you don't have to have the egg component if it does not agree with you. Or instead of that, let's just say that you're vegetarian or vegan and you don't want to do that as well. There is, as well as in here, this is my sticky tofu salad. For anyone who's vegan, you can make that instead of having eggs or instead of having chicken. Or, like, literally, I'm just going through the book and finding recipes. Why not my prawn skewers for breakfast? This is so delicious. I know for a lot of people going, oh, how could I possibly have seafood for breakfast? Look, there is options in here, and the book has options. These are nice. These are my yum cha style chicken dumplings. So if you decided that you didn't want to have chicken breakfast patties, or you didn't want to have tofu or prawns, or you didn't want to have chicken Scotch eggs, you can have these, my dumplings, and which are really nice is make an extra lot of them, and pop them in the freezer, and these go really, really nice in my chicken dumpling soup, which of course is in the book as well. So when it comes to things that you don't eat, go to my Go Food, No Food list. I think it's like a 12-page document, and it has alternatives for every protein, vegetable, fruit, nuts, seeds, oils, all that sort of stuff. It's going to help you to navigate the 28-day meal plan, give you some options, of course, but also make sure that you know that you're not, remember, everything I'm giving you is a guide. It is a guide, and if there's things you don't eat that you're allergic to, that you don't want to eat, then you have the opportunity to swap it out with that Go Food, No Food list. Great question. Very nice question. I have one question here. I was asked yesterday by a couple of people, is when you go to purchase either the first book, the Gut Reset book, so that one there, or you've gone and you've pre-ordered more, why are the prices in US dollars and not in New Zealand or Australian dollars? So, as you know, I am a Kiwi. If you didn't know that, you know that now. I'm a Kiwi. And we have been living in Australia now for 12 going on 13 years. So I am I've got one foot in both countries, which I love. I love the fact that home, New Zealand's just 3 hours away, but I feel so at home here in Australia, and Australia has made me feel so at home, and I feel like I am the luckiest person alive to be currently living here in this beautiful country, and also be close to home. But that's where we are based, Australia, but I'm from New Zealand. But our company is global. So we are currently selling my books into over 20 countries around the world, which is super exciting. Every time we get a new order for a new country, we literally have a little party. We're like, yay, we're in that country now. So we're currently sitting at around about 20 different countries that people are ordering our books. Now you can only order our books online, as you know, because we self-published. Publish these books, these two. So these two are by me and Mahei. We self-publish these. This is us. This is us. This is me on a plate, literally. Because we are a global company and we sell these books all over the world, we can't have separate currencies for separate countries, because people are coming to us from all over the world and going to my website, morefrombridget.com. People are coming from all over the world. So we have one universal payment and like recognizable payment currency, which is US dollars. That's why we do it. But even if you are in New Zealand, you would still be charged, if we were to convert that into New Zealand dollars, you'll be charged the equivalent of 25 US, because that's how much the book costs. If you're in Australia, you'll be charged the equivalent of the Australian price. So you're not getting charged more. The only reason we're doing it is because we need one universal price, because we have audience from throughout the world, and more universally accepted currency apart from pound sterling is the US dollar. So that's why we do it. But no, you are not getting charged any more. It's not that we're an American based company. We are actually based here in Sydney, but we're from New Zealand and Tonga. But we are a global company and we sell to the entire world, which is really exciting for us as well.
To de-risk it.
So I've got a question here. How long can I keep sticky sauce? Well, sticky sauce, I can't say it actually lasts that long in my house, but I have had sticky sauce only when I've gone away out of the country and come back a couple weeks later. So it's a minimum of a month. provided you always go in with a clean teaspoon or a clean spoon every time you go in to use it. It's going to last for such a long time because there's no ingredients in there to go off. It's literally tamari, there's a bit of lime juice, there is some fresh garlic, ginger, and there is an apple. Nothing in there that's going to turn and go off. So sticky sauce will last up to a month. I've just had someone say it works out about 50 AUD with postage. Yes, my darling, it does work out to about 50 AUD with postage because I have no control over the postage. I don't create the postage charges. We have tried to go with a company that charges the least amount of postage. But remember, the postage comes with tracking. So the books are all tracked. It will send you an email. And if you have not found the email in your normal email account, go to your spam folder because you might have some really strong filters on your email account. And the email will be in your spam folder, and that's where you can have your tracking details once the books start to go out. So you're getting a book, and you're getting it posted to your house, and you're getting something that almost no one else in the world has, and it's only costing you 50 AUD, and it's going to help you to lose weight and to regain your health. I actually think that's a bargain. I honestly think that's a bargain. You're getting a hand-created book made with love, especially for us, and that's only costing you $50.
Best value for money.
That's some pretty good value. That's some pretty good value. And remember that this book here is the reason why I lost, 30 kilos. So if you're only paying, $45, $50 for that, that's a bargain. That is an absolute bargain. So putting everything into context, I know for some of you that's a lot of money, and I understand, I get that. So guess what I do? For those of you who can't afford to buy my books, I give away free content every single week on Bridget's Kitchen on Facebook. I give it to you for free. So if you can't afford to buy my books, I totally get it. If you can afford to buy my books, thank you for supporting us because it helps me to continue to write recipes. I can't do this for free, guys. I actually need to make some money, pay the rent, feed the kids, make sure the cats have got cat food, all that sort of stuff. Test recipes constantly, shopping, travel to the supermarkets. I don't have a full-time. This is my full-time job. This is what I do for a living. So this is how I pay my rent and feed my family. So thank you for supporting me. But if you can't afford to buy my books, I totally get it. Because I know for some people that's a lot of money. So if that is the case, I give away recipes for free. And I've done so for nearly 2 years on Bridget's Kitchen that are gluten-free, sugar-free, dairy-free, and low in fat. They're there. You just got to go to Bridget's Kitchen and do some research and request the downloads. But we also have the option, if you like to have the hard copy, this is it. And it costs, it took me 9 months to write this. So this was my 9-month project to write this. It took me 9 months to write this. It's about the same. So these are my 2 babies. It takes a long time to write a book. There is so much time and energy that goes into this, so much IP. In fact, yes, it took me 9 months to physically write this book, but I've been a chef for over 30 years. So what you're getting is you're getting the experience of me creating food for the last 30 years of my life. That's when I think that costs you $50. You're getting 30 years of me and my journey, and it's accumulated in this book. $50 is a small price to pay, and it also means I can continue to write more books because I've got more books in me, right? That's the exciting part. There's more books to go. Okay, I did see a question there. It was, oh my gosh, and I saw it and it's disappeared. It may have been a little while back, Mahe. Do you have any more questions for me? Because I think I don't know what the time is, but I know I've been talking for ages.
Over an hour now.
Over an hour. Any more questions? This is your last chance to get in with your questions. I did see one there, but it just kind of passed me by quite quickly. It did pass me by quite quickly.
Join the group.
Yes. Couple of calls to action for you guys. Remember, if you have bought a book and you're part of Bridget's Kitchen, which is our public page where you can get all the free recipes, if you are wanting a little bit more, do you see where that was totally, I didn't plan that, but if you're wanting a little bit more, make sure you join our private page. It is free to join. Like I said, we just give this stuff to you guys. It is free to join because I'm here to help as many people as possible. This is my whole idea. Look, yes, I need to make money by selling books so I can make more content and continue doing this for the rest of my life. But at the same time, we just want to give you guys as much value as possible. So please, if you are a part of Bridget's Kitchen, the public page on Facebook, you now need to become a member of Bridget's Healthy Kitchen family. Just go onto Facebook and put that into the search engine, Bridget's Healthy Kitchen family. It is our private page. It is a group of, we're over 5,000 now. We've only been going for a couple of months. We've got over 5,000 members, and we're all there to support each other through this health and wellness journey. So it's where you can ask questions. If you've got questions that you just want to be answered, then go to that page, because not only am I there more than you'll see me on Bridget's Kitchen, but also Mahei is there constantly, and then you've got the support of the community, of this 5,000 strong community of people who are there to just support you. So any questions you have about books, recipes, where can I find this, where can I buy this, your best point of call is Bridget's Healthy Kitchen family. It is a private group designed for us, so please go and join that group. Like I said, it's free. You just get support because people love it, and then in turn, once you start to go, I get it, now I know how it works, then you start to support other new people that come into the community too. So it's about giving back, and what you put out there, you will get back in spades. So that's what that community is about. So please join that community. We want to get that as many people as possible, and it is a community of support. So it's not about bashing people. In fact, you got to abide by the rules, and the rules are, be nice and support and share great things to do with gut health and sugar-free, dairy-free, gluten-free, all those types of recipes. But we are not there to point out one particular gut health program over another, because there's so many gut health programs on the market now. There's so many of them, and I'm there to support many gut health programs. So I have mentors and coaches from all over the world doing different gut style programs where they're cutting out the gluten, the dairy, and the sugar, and they have joined me on that page to support not just their people they look after, but also to help other people as well. So it's a great, great, great community. So I've got one last question, and it's about when's the book launch? And it's a really good question. Look at me sitting up in my chair. So it's a really great question. Thank you for asking that. When is the book launch? And of course, it's for this one here. So we are looking at, and I'm going to put it out there. It's the first time we've talked about the book launch. We are looking at, and it'll be a book launch with a cooking class attached to it. So we're looking at potentially doing our book launch in mid-November. It's going to be some of the first book launches. And I'm looking at doing one in Melbourne. Yay, Victoria! Because Melbourne missed out last time and they got really upset. So we're looking at doing one in Melbourne. We're going to be doing one in WA as well, in Perth. We're going to be doing one in Sydney, and we're also going to be doing one in New Zealand. So those are the 4 that we've got planned. And then next year, so early January, we're also looking at doing one in the USA and one in Europe. So to begin with, Melbourne, Sydney, Perth, potentially Auckland. Those are the first 4 happening starting in early November. We will begin to put out notifications once we have decided on dates. It all depends. We haven't put out any dates because we've got to wait for the books to actually land first. Because imagine having a book launch without any books. You can't do that, can you? You've actually got to have some books to do a book launch, because you'll be able to purchase a book. You'll be able to obviously get your book signed if you've already purchased one, because I won't be signing any of these books unless you meet me in person, because these books are going straight to a fulfillment center who's sending them out for me. I will not be physically touching every single book like I did with the first lot. See? Got my name in it. I won't be doing that with this lot. So if you need your book signed, you need to come along to a book launch, you need to come along to a book signing, or you need to come along to a cooking class to get your book signed. Meet me, let's take some photos, let's eat some delicious food as well, and let's enjoy and celebrate this book. So book launches, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, Auckland, those 4 this year. Dates will be put out on Bridget's Kitchen and in our private page as well. If you're part of our private group, you will get first-hand knowledge to when those book launches are happening. You're going to be the first group to find out. That's why I suggest you join our private group, because we always put everything out there first they get all the good stuff. But they don't get the good stuff. They get all the first-hand knowledge. So they get the opportunity to join in on these book launches and stuff. So that's going to be happening first. But yes, cooking classes. Now, I will put the call out. Here we go. If any one of you know or have a space available for me and Mahé to come and do a book signing, book launch, cooking class in either Melbourne, Perth, Sydney. Sydney I actually got, don't worry about Sydney, I'm good with Sydney. So Melbourne, Perth and Auckland, please can you send me a message. Do not send it to me on Messenger because I probably won't read it because I get thousands of messages. Please send a email to admin@bridgetshealthykitchen.com with attention book launch cooking class in the header, so we know which one it is, and then Mahé will forward those on to me, so we can start to find a venue that's going to be able to accommodate all of us in those wonderful, wonderful cities. So if you've got a kitchen, if you've got a space, if you know of a space, if you've got somewhere at a function centre, let me know, because that's just going to make our job so much easier in getting these dates locked in and getting these book launches and cooking classes arranged for coming up in November. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. It has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for all your wonderful questions as well. And for anyone who still hasn't purchased the book, here you go. More from Bridget.com will get you the book. If you want the first book, The Gut Reset, just go to bridgetscookbook.com and you get two side by side, sitting on the bench, looking pretty sexy. Looking wonderful and also doing wonderful things for our bodies. So thank you for joining me today. I will be doing a cooking class tomorrow. I will not tell you what it is. It's a big surprise, but it's going to be a good, healthy one, so you're going to enjoy it. Join me tomorrow, cooking class, back in the kitchen. Thank you for joining me today. Love you guys. Enjoy your Monday. If it's a public holiday for you here in Australia, or if you're back at work on Monday anywhere else, parts of the world, have a wonderful, wonderful day. And we will talk to you soon, and thank you for your support. Love you guys so much. Let's keep on being healthy. All right, guys, take care. Bye.